We listen to music, read poetry, watch a performance, appreciate art in a gallery. But what does it take to make it? What do creators go through to get to the stage where they can showcase their work? What are the highs they experience and the lows they overcome to get there? This is what we'll find out on The Artist Journey. Living the dream, conspiracy analyst, big words, and of course, make Ireland grand again are just some of the incredible poems you've written, all to be found on your website, jameswdillon.com.
Yeah.
I love your work and how you present it, right? And I can't wait to learn more about your creative process. But before we get into all that, take me back. Before you're performing your poetry on festivals and engaged in gluten-based warfare with your neighbour, what was our good pal Jimbo like growing up?
Oh my God, that is the best opening ever, by the way. Oh, okay. So, whole thing, right? Name is James William Dillon, but Jimbo's my name. It all started around the corner. It all started on the south side in Hollis Street. I was born on the 8th. I weighed 8 pounds 8 ounces, and I was born at 20 to 8. So the two hands of the clock were on the number 8. So obviously,
Okay, yeah.
8's my favourite number. But yeah, growing up, I was kind of a quiet kid, to be honest. My ma always said it when I kind of came out of my shell when we went on a holiday one time, and we caught a load of mackerel off the coast of, where was it, down in Kilmarquee, and we're happy. That was the song that we made up at the time. But we got like a black bag full of fish, but you were gutting the fish in the back of the boat, and we were just throwing the guts in. And my ma said, "You really came out of your shell there." I was like, "Oh yeah, deadly, yeah." So kind of progressed from that. I based kind of my whole upbringing, it's kind of surrounded around football. So like my friends that I made would have been from football, everything like that. The first poem that I ever heard was in primary school, and our teacher was out sick. So in primary school, what they used to do is they'd split the class into groups of 3, they'd send them around the school, and we went into one of the older classes. Okay. And in that class is the first poem I've ever heard that I actually was like, wow. It was William Wordsworth, The Daffodils.
Ah, nice.
So the last line in it, "And then my heart with pleasure fills and dances with the daffodils." And I was just a little kid looking around like, did anyone else hear that? Like, what's going on? Because we were right in Coolock. That's where I grew up. And we had the Stardust Park right beside us. And you can nearly see it from the school, and you can just see loads of daffodils. And I was just imagining it when you're there, and it just brought you to that stage. So then in primary school, I would have wrote a load of poetry. Even on the back of my book that I wrote, I have kind of like, in the back 3 pages, it's a poem about my communion, the 27 bus, you know what I mean? And I just love stuff that rhymed, and I just love putting words together. And then kind of, if you fast forward a little bit, then I just kept writing. And normally, actually, I'd go out on a night out, I wouldn't click, and then what I'd do is I'd go home real angry, and I'd write down stuff. And then the next day I'd kind of decipher the scribbles. And then I'd say, oh, that's what I meant. You know what I mean? I was like, oh, that's actually good. It's like drunk Jimbo was communicating with sober Jim through the scribbles. And then I wrote my first book when I used to work customer support. Okay. So I think I got a lot of traits from that. Like I could have been like a hostage negotiator leaving that place because no one's ever calling you up with good things to say. Do you always have a complaint? Yeah. And I was able to just manipulate it in a way of, oh, yeah, what are they doing to you? No, we're on the same team here. Yeah. So I was good at kind of communicating and kind of talking my way out of things. So that's probably progressed into what I'm doing now, really. Yeah. But it was, I can say it was for the Xbox when it came out. Okay. But then after Christmas goes, there's a lot less kind of people ringing you up. So we start letting people go. So I've seen a pattern of the people that are being kept as part-time kept their jobs. So I've seen people like say, I'm not going part-time. They were getting the boot. So when my boss rang me up and goes, do you want to go part-time? It's like, you bet you want to go part-time, you know what I mean? So in all that time, like I'm dangerous with free time on my hands. So I knew I was sitting on all these poems and stuff. I was like, you know what? I'm going to write a book. A Sondering Soul. And I know Dermot Kennedy later on in life, I think he copied off it a bit. The word sonder is basically like, you're living a life. And you could be walking down the road there and you don't realise the person that's walking by you has a life as complex as your own. And I just love that idea of like everyone's actually individual and everyone has their own story to tell. So like one of the poems in it, the last poem, Sonder, is about kind of walking through town and seeing all the different people and everything like that. So I went on a bit of a mission. I ended up going up to a place in Tala to get it printed. And then with that, like I had 50 books, and at the time I was like, you know what? If you give me a fiver, I'll drive to your house, I'll give you the book, I'll take a picture with you, I'll sign it for you. And the buzz I got out of that, because it's like, I'm doing this and people are kind of resonating with it.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh yeah, this is great. So then if you fast forward a little bit more, when I was saying about the football, right, I done my knee at the start of 2019. Okay, ACL, meniscus gone, yeah?
Ooh.
And it's mad because you have your group of people that you kind of resonate with, you can kind of relate to. But then when that's taken away from you, you're not seeing those people 3 days a week. And then if you even try to go to the pub with them, do you have all inside jokes that you're not a part of? It's like hanging around with someone else's mates.
Yeah, especially with something like football as well. Like it's you train twice a week.
Train twice a week, you're playing a match on the weekend, and probably going to the pub after.
Well, that's it, and then you're losing all that with the
You lose all of that.
Yeah.
So then that was 2019. In May 2019, I got the surgery, but it was never the same, so I could never really go back. And then COVID kicked off. In COVID, right, I was drinking a lot of whiskey and I was writing a lot of poetry. And I got it in my head, I'm going to do jazz poetry. So that's what I done. I think I had stuff that I already had, so like the Sober Sex, that was one of the first poems that I wrote that I was like, geez, this is actually all right. If I do stuff like that, it's going to be good. So I have Sober Sex, a few other ones like Living the Dream. I just got inspiration from that when I was walking around Grand Canal with my boss, and he was like, "This is living the dream, isn't it?" And I was thinking, Jesus, what if you kept having nightmares all the time? And that's like the premise of that. It's like I'm living the dream, which really seems people from my past keep popping up, being very vocal, disagreeing on how I do things. Because that's like, oh Jesus, why are you doing this? So I've done all of them, and I like jazz I just like the vibe of it. It's just like raw music nearly.
Yeah.
And then I was just getting loads of jazz music that I liked, having the poems recorded, and then I was putting it against it. Even before that, I was drunk one night and I ordered a keyboard. And then when it arrived to the house, it was like, what is this? I was like, you know what, I'm going to do something with this. Never learned it at all, but there was a microphone that came with it. And you probably know Jack Kerouac.
Yeah.
Like On the Road, everything like that. I listened to one of his things before, and it was American Haikus, right? And it's like, the bumblebee is in my medicine cabinet or something, and then he has someone playing the saxophone. And I was like, I took all the saxophone and I put all my random memos and stuff that I put on Twitter, and I just mixed them together and I put it out into the world. It's 7 minutes long, and if you listen to it now, it's completely unhinged, yeah? But it's still good. But that was like the first taste of it, and then COVID kicked off and I wrote a poem about that because I was real against it. I was like, no, I had the house set up, I had like papers in my background of all the headlines and everything, and I put that out, and it's just one of them, put it out to the world and see what happens. But once you take that first step, it's like, all right, I don't mind putting the face out there, I don't mind doing whatever. So then after that, then when COVID stopped, everything started opening back up. Then I was like, you know what, I might go and start doing a few gigs. Okay. You know, go to a few open mics, and the buzz that you get from it is just, it's second to none. So ever since then, it's kind of been hosting gigs, and now we're kind of here. It's brought me to this position.
And it's brought you to this position today. So then it was the class that you went to when you were brought into the year ahead. So that's what sparked your passion for poetry, really, here in the Daffodils. Do you remember what the first poem you wrote was about? Was it about your communion, or was
First
it
poem I wrote?
Yeah.
There was, I think they came into the school, Dublin bus did, and they were asking everyone, could you write a poem about the bus? So that would have been the first one.
Oh, okay, poem
Yeah,
about the bus.
I'd probably find it somewhere, but we'll attach it here, we'll put it in the yoke. But yeah, that was the first one, but I always liked poems that rhymed. And it was just easy, it was just like, oh yeah, just words just flow better with the air. So I've kind of continued that on, to be honest.
Okay. Do you think that's kind of your personal style, is the kind of a rhyming scheme that you go for?
I think so, yeah. But in saying that as well, there's other kind of rhyming schemes that I've been kind of dabbling with, or you do it kind of in the middle and then have it go on to something else. I think the flow more is better than the actual, just because you can nearly guess what's coming up next. Yeah. If you get me. So it's good to play with different styles, and you don't want all your poems sound the same either.
Well, that's it, yeah. Okay, cool. When you wrote the book and started publishing that, was that when you first started to share your poetry with the world, or was there any kind of moments before that?
I think that would have been the first time.
Okay.
And I think there was one or two poems that I would have shared. Like my first time performing was at the Lingo Festival. I think it was Lingo, and it was in the Workman's Club. Okay. And that was the first time I seen like Stephen James Smith. But he had it upstairs in the Workman's. I've actually performed that a few times since then. But you're going up there, and they were like, oh, you just put a random name into the hat or whatever, they were picking people out. So they picked me out, and I done a poem called Wearing the Bed Sheets. But I was standing there like that, and my hands were just shaking, and I was. But then afterwards, like, some girl came up to me, she was like, "That was very good, yeah, no, that was deadly." I was like, "Oh, no, thanks very much." You know what I mean? You don't know how to take, like, compliments or whatever. I was like, "Oh, jeez." But after that, I was like, "Yeah, I could probably see myself doing it again."
Okay, yeah. So you did kind of experience that, because like from chatting to you and from watching a lot of your stuff online, you're very outgoing, you're very assured of what you do, but it's interesting to hear that you did experience that performance anxiety.
Yeah. But I think people get it, like, even when you go to the likes of open mics, I love the buzz you get off seeing someone that hasn't done it before. Yeah. You know, and they're getting the reassurance when they finish. Like, the whole community, from what I've learned, like, I've moved from the football community, and I've moved into the kind of the poetry community, the arts, all these musicians and stuff, and they're very welcome, and they're very kind of like, they want to see people do well. Yeah. So yeah, I was nervous at the start, but it's nerves are good. And absolutely. If you are nervous, just take that first leap, and then you might do a bit more of this.
So then, what do you think helps in terms of getting over that performance anxiety?
Just going out and doing it.
Just going out and doing it.
And you probably have the worst. Like, I usually do this. I think of the worst case scenario in my head. And I think that's why I'm kind of jovial all the time, because I'll be walking down the road, I was like, Jesus Christ, imagine, like, I fell now off the path and I went underneath that bus, and I just think, like, it's dread. But then on the flip side of that is, if that doesn't happen, I'm having a great day. So that's why I'm just going around like, oh, this is happy. So that's why a lot of my poems are kind of happy as well. You know what I mean? But yeah, you just got to get over the first one. People in the room, they don't hate you. Yeah. Even though you might think that, but you just need to get over it. They're going to give you compliments at the end, and it's just like, all right, I might come to another one of these.
Well, that's it. Well, I think it's a vulnerability thing too, and it's one thing to be vulnerable to a page or on a notes app, but it's another thing entirely to be vulnerable in front of a group of people. So then, how do you know you're ready, either mentally or emotionally, to showcase your talent to the world?
How do you know you're ready?
How do you know you're ready?
You're not. You're not ready. No one's ready. What do you mean? Like, sometimes, even if I'm thinking about, like, I'll go to gym, but I'm not going to go to gym unless I have the right clothes, and then I'll run out and get the right clothes, and then you're just putting hurdles in front of yourself. Just go to gym, or just do the poem, or just perform what you want to perform. I was thinking this, I was like, imagine if Dermot Kennedy never sang, and he was just like, no, I'm not going to sing, like, I'm just going to sit in the gaff, or I'm just going to work in an office. He's keeping that from the world. Sometimes when you see someone the first time, they're sharing something, and you're like, tell you what, it's great that you actually allowed that into the universe. You put that energy out there. You know, so you're never ready, but the world is.
But just do it. The world's ready for you.
You can have that one, yeah.
So then, how would you describe the poetry scene in Ireland?
Growing. I think very so, good. Yeah. So, like, when I go to the shows, like, everything started after COVID for me, realistically. But before then, like, you have the likes of Dave Hines, and he deserves a mention because he does so much for the scene, and so many people have come through and they've seen him, and he's put people on and given people opportunities. But it's like, he's even said it to me, that the scene is just bustling at the minute. And it is with the likes of the Circus Sessions, Smithfield Creatives, having those spaces that people can come into. Like, I done a poetry slam Sunday, and that's my third time doing it. I lost 3 times, but it's all right. I don't hold it against them. But, like, you get new people coming into that and just, like, expressing themselves, and it just opens new avenues. Like, that was one of the first times I was going in. It was during the literature festival in Merrion Square. Went and done that, and I was a complete unknown. Like, I was just coming in here with my Make Ireland Grand Again beanie, just happy to be part of, like, what's going on, you know what I mean? I was just going in giddy. And then from there, you kind of seen the likes of Ryan Duggins, deserves a mention. Like, Ryan Duggins was there, Queeve a week lame, like, Morgan Sloggett. There was people that were there that just, you want to check them out now. Like, even my Mrs. she says, like, looking at Queeve now to what she compared to, she was kind of like me, kind of like, and we went and seen her when she was in EP, and the whole word tent was just packed out. So there's an appetite for poetry and spoken word, and I think people are feeling that. Cool. Because if people want to say it, it's definitely places you can say it. Cool. Yeah.
Deadly. Very cool. All right. Well, look, you are very well established for your poetry and for your hosting as well, which we'll come back to. But it also says on your website you're a BIM technician. Explain to me what that is.
Okay. Building information modelling. Right. So, in secondary school, my favourite subject was construction studies. It was the only one I kind of loved, to be honest. It was the only one I really liked. So
Kind of like technical drawing, tech graphics.
technical drawing, I was just good at it. Like, it just worked. Like, I was doing it and I was looking around saying, how does not get this? Like, and I just knew that I was decent at it. So then I went to DIT Bolton Street and I done engineering systems maintenance because my uncle was something to do with the recruitment, and he was like, it's a very broad subject, just do it and you might find something that you like in it. So of course the thing that I done in that was computer aided design, so CAD. And I was just like 100% on the test. 100% of the test was like, I might actually look into doing this. So when I was saying about the Xbox gig, I was the last to leave there. Me and a lad called Gunders, right? They locked the door behind us, and it was made redundant.
Okay.
And then Cláiste Dúlaigh had a springboard course for building information modelling. And my man said it to me, he said, why don't you just go down and blah, blah, blah. So I met with the principal, done 3 months college, 3 months on the job, and that 3 months has turned into 8 years. So it's basically building information modelling, 3D design. It's like architecture, except we'll get the model from the architect, but we'll put the electrical, the mechanical and the plumbing through it.
Okay.
So that's what I do.
It does still kind of have an artistic feel to it as well, because it is like drawn. It is artistical design kind of thing.
It is kind of artistical. I'd say more so on the architecture side.
Okay.
It's artistic. When I'm doing it, it's kind of more engineering.
Right.
And when I went to college, one of the main lads said to us, we're going to beat the creativity out of you. And I was like, all right, grand, because it's like, you don't need to be creative. The thing needs to work, and then that's it.
Yeah, I suppose. Yeah.
Yeah, so
simple solutions for these problems. Don't get too airy-fairy about it. Like.
Yeah, but I have worked on a couple of buildings that are kind of artistic. Like, I've been in the ceiling of the old library in Trinity.
Cool. Wow.
You know what I mean?
Hell,
I've walked through the Children's Hospital. I've seen the plans for the UCD, kind of Centre of Future Learning. It's like the Giant's Causeway on Smack. It's crazy. Honestly, guys, you want to check it out. So I've seen all these things. So there is creativity in it. So yeah, I do enjoy it. Yeah, I have to say.
And look, it is very common for artists to have a primary job which funds their artistic career.
Yeah.
Is being a full-time artist with your poetry something that you aspire to do?
The only thing that would be stopping you is the actual payments, I'd say. I'll be honest, like when I was talking about being giddy, going to gigs, it's because it was just new and fresh and everything like that. To be honest with you, I actually kind of panicked a bit because probably the second or third gig that I done was upstairs in the exact same place that I done my first poem. Airplane mode.
I said it,
No way.
Thank God we're not fucking live.
I'd just like to take a brief moment to thank Pausa Caffe for helping support the creation of the artist journey. Without their support, we wouldn't have a location to film in, so please show them some love by heading to their Instagram page. And for the best coffee and lunch served by the friendliest staff, you can visit their locations on Townsend Street in Dublin 2 and Berkeley Road, Dublin 1, where this show is filmed. Thanks, Pausa. Now back to the show.
So in the second or third gig that I done, it was at the Flow show. So shout out to Dervla. That was one of the first ones. It was like my two mates knew her from basketball. And after I'd done the jazz poetry and stuff, they both sent it to me independently, not knowing, like, and just saying, why don't you do this gig? So I reached out to her, I was like, what's the story? Can I blah, blah, blah? Do you need to see me stuff? She's like, no, just come up and do it. And it was like a family affair. Like, loads of my family were there and loads of my friends and all. Just to see how I got on. And yeah, that was great. But the second one that I done, Emma O'Brien was in the audience.
Cool.
So I knew him because my whole thing was, if I done a gig with a poet, I'd follow them online and I just got on their radar and see what they're about. So that was my kind of conduit to get into the scene. It's like, whoever you see is like, I'll just give you a follow so you know who I am now, and then I might see you around and blah, blah, blah. But I was a fan of his, and since then we've become friends and we've done loads. But he seen me at that and he came up to me at the end and he was saying, do you want to do Dublin's Finest? Do you want to do Dublin's Finest? I was like, yeah, cool, yeah. But I went in there and I was like, people have already heard the ones I've done, and I was panicking, and I was like, the first time I'd done it, to be honest, I didn't think I'd done a great job because I was doing all these weird ones that I was like, well, people have already heard this. Now I know that people hear them and they enjoy them and they want to hear them again.
Okay, yeah.
But I didn't think that at the time. Yeah. But at the end of that night, like, he handed me a score. I was like, here's you go. Like, that was the first time I got paid for a gig.
Okay.
But that kind of clicked something in me as well. It's like, do I need to be taking this more serious now?
Interesting.
I know, and I kind of, I'll be honest, it didn't happen at the time. It was kind of like a year or so later, I was kind of like, it's getting a bit serious now. I don't know whether I want to go down that route or would I. Like the job that I'm in now, if I did have a job that I absolutely despised, I'd be like, get me out of here.
Yeah.
Like, bin the 9 to 5, I just do poetry all the time. But the way I have it now, I think it's a good balance.
Yeah.
It's like, I have the money here and I don't need to be worrying about other stuff. I don't need to be panicking about, oh, how am I going to, I'll do this gig and I'll get this much and blah, blah, blah. Because all my brain space would be just covered up with that then.
Yeah.
How am I going to cover all these other costs? Whereas now it's like, I get paid for my normal job and then I'm going to do like nearly my main job.
Because I think that is an interesting thing when people are creating, whether it's music, art, poetry, whatever it is, you're creating because there's a thought in your head, there's something that you want to get out, whatever it might be. And then when you do look at it as a career, it does change the dynamic for it. So it's then, oh, well, like, I have to write something now because I need to keep producing, I need to keep making. Do I then write something that I think people will like? But then it becomes a bit more disingenuous because you're not writing from your heart, or you're creating from your heart.
I was told great advice years ago, and it was write for yourself.
Yeah.
Because you'll always like it.
Yeah.
Don't write for other people.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
That stuck with me.
And that translates across art mediums as well. Create for yourself.
Yes.
You know, it's super important. Really,
but you'll
really
find
important.
someone that resonates with whatever it is. Like,
That's it.
crazy stuff even.
And you'll
In
find
my
someone
opinion.
that doesn't give a shit about it as well. That's the thing.
Oh, yeah,
too. It
100%.
goes both ways.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
as long as you like it, as long as you're enjoying the process, as long as you're enjoying the end result, well, that's the main thing.
100%. Yeah.
Absolutely. Cool. And like I said previously, you do have a fantastic collection of work available online, and I do have a clip of you reciting, which we will play at the end of the episode.
Grand.
But what does your creative process look like when writing poetry? Do you decide for yourself, I'm going to write X amount in this time? Do you write when inspiration strikes, notes app or notebook in the back pocket kind of job? Or?
Gotcha. The one I've started using, right, and I'd probably recommend anyone else to use it, is Google Docs.
Cool. Okay.
Because it's on cloud. So it's like, I'll do it on my phone and then I can jump onto the laptop and it's the exact same stuff.
Cool.
Even, I had an old phone and I was sticking stuff in my notes. Like that thing about the Jack Kerouac, that was just coming from my tweets. So I used to have a thought and I used to tweet it. And I was like, it's probably not a great idea doing that because there's some crazy stuff. So I was like, I'll keep it in my memos. But that was on my old phone and then I lost my phone. And then I'm like,
Jesus.
the amount of gold mine that could have been in there, you know what I mean? But there's sometimes where you find it where you'd write something down and you check the old stuff and it's like, I already wrote that down. So what kind of mindset I'm in? But Google Docs is the main one. If I was going to something more recent, I started chatting to my old English teacher. I caught him outside a petrol station. He's like, oh, geez, I really like what you're doing and all, blah, blah, blah. He sent me an 8-minute long voice note. And I was like, this is the longest voice note I've ever got in my life. And then we were just communicating that way. And then I was like, wouldn't it be gas to write a poem about voice notes? And I was like, all right. And then I was like, what's the kind of scenario that you do a voice note? And when are you getting them? And what's the kind of the faux pas? Or what do you avoid doing? And I just
Send
wrote
an 8-minute voice note. So that's just
yeah, don't send 8-minute voice notes. Don't. But
Nobody
like,
likes it.
I have a poem just called Voice Notes now. As we knew it was one, it's kind of like, yeah, I can do it if you want. Do start. When I want to get my steps up, I send voice notes. Like, I don't know about you, but I can't sit or stand still. My thumb hits that microphone, I start pacing the floor, back and forth, to and fro. Depending on the length, I could end up halfway down the road, far from home. I wouldn't even notice it's raining. My WhatsApp oration shows a dedication to dictation. My main method of communication. Because two-thumb and the QWERTY, it's not for me. You and I only prefer a soliloquy, doomed fingering glass screens, happily jaded, killing lackluster zany, X-rated, contagious vibrations, braggadocious never. Mind you, if you whip your phone out, check the keypad, you'll see that was every letter in order. You see, that's it.
Very good. Very fucking good. Yes.
Yeah, so that's how inspiration strikes, or when I'm talking about living the dream. My fat friends, we were chatting about it earlier, that was during COVID. I was eating loads of curry, drinking loads of whiskey, and I was like, you know what? I'm going to write a poem to scare myself into losing weight. And my fat friend is basically me if I just got bigger.
I was actually wondering that, right? Because one is that inspired by somebody else that you might know in your circles, or you're actually frightening yourself out of it?
Close friend of mine texted me, was like, is that poem about me? And I listen to it, mate. It's definitely not.
You're not a diamond, pal.
But yeah, that's how inspiration strikes. So it can come in many forms.
Okay,
Which,
so
yeah,
then just something comes into your head, it's onto the Google Docs straight away.
It's onto the Google Docs. Like, yeah, it's onto the Google Docs. That's the best way of doing it from me.
Very
That's how it
cool.
works. But I
Yeah,
know
yeah.
people like the whole tactile thing of writing down stuff, but I'm never going to carry around the journal with me.
See, that's the thing. Like, I'm saying myself, I do prefer pen and paper. I'm
Yeah.
so bad at trying to digitalize myself. Like even now, like that took me ages to do with print these things. You know what I mean?
Like,
But that's the thing. They just end up with notebooks and notebooks and notebooks, and
Yeah.
half the time we don't go back over it. Now it's deadly because I have a whole library full of ideas and a bunch of other stuff there.
Yeah.
That if I do go back on, it's like, oh yeah, I might endeavour on that.
Mhm.
But then you lose something, or you're trying to find that specific notebook that had a thing. And whereas if I just had a Google Doc, then it'd be all there in front.
Google Docs is the way to go. I still have a copybook though from the drunk days when I used to go home and scribble. And I don't like writing in pen. I think pen is very permanent. I like pencil
Okay.
when I do write because
Yeah.
then it's kind of like you can scribble it out. You can kind
Yeah.
of go over it again. I tried the pen and it's a mess.
Yeah.
But yeah,
You end up with 40 ink blots on the page. Like.
100%. Yeah, I love the Tipex. So can't do it.
So then you do have music playing in a lot of your poetry online, little
Yes.
boppy jazz numbers, and I love your
Oh,
little
yeah.
your little bop at the end as well.
I can't help it.
Oh, it's
Yeah.
great. It's so great. But it shows that you're so into it as well, which I love.
Yeah.
But where do you get the music from, particularly for those? Because I know you said you did rob some saxophone bops for your tweets, but
Yeah.
so then is it from the Casio, or not the Casio, but the keyboard that you bought? Is that all on?
No, the ones on jazz poetry, and this is why some of them are on the website because I tried to put them on YouTube, it's like copyright. You can't be getting away with that.
Yeah, yeah.
So I just listen to a load of jazz stuff because I knew I liked it, and I know that there's usually no lyrics in jazz, so it's just going to be the music.
Yeah.
So I'm saying I can just put my poems on top of this, and it'll work grand.
Okay.
So it was kind of the process of elimination. I had a playlist on Spotify just saying jazz poetry, and I had like, I think it was like 40 odd songs in it.
Okay.
And then I just whittle them down, and then I'd say, well, this might go well with this, and this might go well. I think one of the performances that I done in the circle sessions, and it's probably to date one of my favourite ones, was that conspiracy one. So conspiracy, and it's Duke Ellington in the background, and it just went so perfect. You know, when just something just slides in, you're like, yeah, this is gonna work. Yeah. So that was the process. It's just listen to a load of jazz and saying, okay, this could go with that.
And is it kind of the tone, the timbre of the song? Is it a rhythmic thing, or?
It's a rhythmic thing. Like I think in My Fat Friend, I have Herbie Hancock, Cantaloupe Island, I think it's called. It was a din, 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 and I was just like, yeah, this My Fat, because it's if I was doing a sad one, I'd be looking for sad songs, but that was kind of a little bop in my head, and I didn't really want it that I had to change like my style of it to suit the music. I wanted the music to more suit the way I was flowing with the words and stuff. Yeah. But yeah, I know what you mean with a little bop because I'm even thinking about it now. Yeah. I was like, come here, we just need to set the room up. So I'll have a table here and I'll have the cameras here and I'll play this and then, yeah.
It's so good as well because you kind of have a little jam at the start, a little jam at the end. It's just so, it's so perfect. It's so fucking good. I love it. I absolutely love it. You mentioned circus sessions and the workman's gig as well. So how did you get into gigging your poetry, and what avenues are available to aspiring poets, and are there recommended steps that a poet should take to get into gigging?
Recommended steps is just go to open mics.
Open mics.
9 times out of 10, there's going to be someone else there that'll give you advice. Like I know the main one, like it's over 10 years now, circle sessions. And that's with Seamus Bradley. And he'll be going there, he opens up the night kind of the same way. This is the circle sessions, you know, give respect to whoever's on the stage, everything like that. He just picks names. And it could be, you could be on the first time or you could be on the last time. Like the first time I went there, I made it my business to go, and he didn't have me on till like 11 o'clock at night. So I was already a bit, all right, I'm just going to get up and do my bit, and I had a plan, but the plan just went out the window, and then I had to run for the train at the end of it. But you just go to the open mics, and then what happens is people that run nights, like myself, like, will see someone at it. Like, there's been often times I've seen someone perform, and I just, what you doing, like, what you doing the last Sunday of the month, would you do a gig, or, they're like, yeah. And the thing is, at Dublin's fine. It's like that was my first paid for gig. It's a lot of people's first paid for gigs, and you kind of get the feel of it then. But yeah, open mic, circle sessions, and Smithfield Creatives on the tour. See Adam Kelly as well. He does great stuff between that and the Works Festival and everything. People are putting the effort into the scene, so I'd like other people to kind of become aware of it and go themselves.
And even just being a participant as well, because I've only unfortunately been to one Smithfield Creatives, maybe one or two, and like I do like writing a bit myself. I don't know if I'd actually ever perform, but just being in that environment is great, and you do kind of take inspiration. You do get a buzz out of it, and you're like, you know, geez, actually, I do wish I had something prepared. I wish I was up on that stage myself. So
Yeah.
definitely, absolutely, even just check them out. If you've in any way found interest in this kind of stuff, go to them. Absolutely.
But nobody's saying you have to go to these things and perform.
No,
Like,
absolutely not.
I've seen people go there like weeks upon weeks and not do anything, and then, all right, I might do something.
That's it.
And then it's like, all right, I get a feel of it. But yeah, you're dead right. Do you do poetry? Are you writing stuff?
I've written a couple of bits. Funnily enough, actually, I anytime I do write something, it's usually because something's gone terribly wrong.
Okay.
And it's just that kind of catharsis kind of thing for me.
Yeah.
And usually it's kind of around business stuff, because this is like the second or third iteration of trying to set up a business.
Ah.
Usually when something goes tits up, then you're all frustrated or whatever, and just write something out.
Yeah.
And I'm kind of refreshed again, you know. It gets it out of the system,
Yes.
you know. I personally find that that's where my inspiration comes from, but it's purely catharsis.
Yeah. A lot of people will say that doing poetry is a lot cheaper than therapy.
Yeah, actually, I can't afford therapy.
So
but-
so that's the thing. They just get up on the stage and just
Yeah.
here's me, and then people will, like
And
that.
it's such a release. You know, the kids-
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Oh, it's a great release. It really is. So then, like, you've done so many gigs yourself, like as we discussed. Do you still enjoy gigging?
I do.
Yeah.
I do. What I was saying there earlier, I did kind of fall out of love with it a bit, and I was kind of more, because I like seeing people do well, and I like seeing other people come up, and I was kind of stepping away from myself because I didn't feel like I was getting the buzz of, oh yeah, I'm getting in front of people as well, because I was still comparing it against like one of the first times that I'd done it, and when I wasn't getting paid and when stuff like that was happening, but I do still enjoy it. Yeah,
Yeah.
I've kind of, because I fell out of it. Now that I'm back in it and I'm getting the buzz, or getting like reactions off people and stuff, that's the best thing. I do sometimes think that out of all the arts, I think poetry is probably the best. It's biased, of course, but I'm thinking if I was in a band, I could probably play the drums, but every gig you're lugging a big cymbal around with you. You know what I mean? If you're a comedian, you have to make people laugh. You could be a poet. You could go into a room and make the whole room cry, and you'd still do a good job at the end.
Yeah.
If that's what you wanted to do. You don't need to do a sound check. You know what I mean? You just rock up and do it. And it's cool that people do know you as the poet.
Yeah.
The spoken words, you know what I mean? Like, there's not, like, it hasn't happened much, but sometimes like people, oh Jimbo, what's the story? And I'd be looking at you saying, do I know you from something? And then you say, oh, I love that poem that you done about the big words. I was like, okay, you're at the gig. And then it's kind of goes up and there, yeah. So I do get a buzz out of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Cool.
do.
So then, what makes a good gig for you? You kind of touched on it there, but like, what really is like, oh, that was a deadly gig?
That I've done.
Yeah. Out of your own experience, like, what is that like? You know, that's what makes a good gig for me. Walking away, if you're to analyze it, like, that was a good gig for this reason.
Walking away with the least amount of regrets.
Okay.
So you wouldn't have all regret, like you wouldn't be able to say, oh, this went wrong, this went wrong. You'd probably go up there and say, Jesus, I probably could have moved that way. Or if you're being that critical, it means you're doing a good job. And like people will come up to you and say, oh yeah, that's great, that's great. Like there was a time where I done a poem that was kind of, I wouldn't promote it or anything like that. It was a bit like more kind of political or whatever.
Okay.
And someone came up to me that is a great poet. I won't name them, but that I respect. And they were like, I actually didn't like that. I was like, oh, thanks very much. You know what I mean? I more respected that.
Yeah.
Because people are going to be like honest with you. And he wrote me like a big line of why he didn't like it. I was like, this is great. You know what I mean? But
Okay.
I've affected them.
Yeah.
Like you're putting something out in the world, they're taking it, and it's making them feel a certain way. So I think from a good gig, if you enjoy it and everyone else enjoys it, it's great. Like with my poems, you probably see yourself, like it's kind of more happy and stuff.
Yeah.
I love looking out at the crowd and you can see kind of people smiling back at you. That's good for me.
Okay, yeah. So when you've resonated with somebody else, that's when you can like, actually, I've done something today.
Yeah, like even though I didn't win the poetry slam, I said at the start of Big Words, right? That's the first poem that I done. My followers' favourite Big Words, and I kind of opened it by saying, my favourite word is conduit, which it is. I like the way it looks, like the way it sounds, like the way it's spelled, look what it could mean. A woman came up to me at the end of that gig and was like, that's my favourite word as well. I was like, what? That just blew my mind. I was like, the two of us. Yeah. So there's stuff like that as well. Like, I don't need the money. I don't need the winnings. So I just, that felt good.
To find out that somebody else has a favourite word and it's
Yes,
also
it's all, yeah. I was like, I'm not on my own. It's like, yeah, it makes sense. I know. Yeah.
Oh, I love that. We touched on it there as well. You're the host of Dublin's Finest.
Yes.
Tell me about Dublin's Finest and how you came into that role.
Okay, so the first time I done Dublin's Finest, its founder, Emma O'Brien, he went away to Canada, and while he was away, he was basically looking for someone to look after it. And he kind of seen me. He said, would you mind looking after it while I'm away? So there's no problem at all. And the first gig I done was in August 23. I had Basil, Brian, I had Philip Kenny, I had Leanne Bickerdike and Adam Kelly.
That's a great lineup.
It was a lovely lineup, yeah. And there was fuck all people in the room. But I didn't care because it was like, I'm putting this night on, I've asked these people to come, they're here now, you know, got a bit of money for the tickets or whatever, they're all getting a score at the end of it or whatever. And I was just sitting there and I was like, this is great, like I've asked them to do this and they're here now, you know. And I just came into it because he was going away, he asked myself to look after it, and he was like, Julie O'Brien, pizza egg, she makes the posters, so he's like, keep Julie involved with like the posters and everything like that. I was like, she needs to be just more involved than just making the posters, so she's like the creative director. Like if she says, I think we should do this, or go for it.
Yeah.
Like I'm just mainly the host.
I see you have an organisational role there as well with booking guests.
Yeah, booking guests. And do you want an exclusive?
Oh,
I'm going to give you a few exclusives, right?
all right.
So I've recorded all the gigs since then.
Cool.
I've recorded Felipe Menendez, Light and Phil doing a blues thing. I've recorded all spoken word. I've recorded all the storytellers that came in. I have all the footage. I just need to put it on YouTube. So I think if I say it to you now, that's my commitment to putting it on YouTube. So in April, you should see the Dublin's Finest page on YouTube with a bit more content on it. So I have nearly 2 years of stuff. It's a year and a half.
Excellent.
And I just love seeing people perform. And I look back on those videos every so often. Like I have Google Drive, so I put it on the Google Drive, share it with them. And I get a kick out of like even Sean Walsh, poet. Like I seen him at the Irish Leinster Poetry Slam. So that's to go into the All Ireland. That was my first time seeing him up close. And I had to say it to him, I was like, here, what's the story? Do you want to do Dublin's Finest? And he put up a video there not too long ago. And it got loads of views, loads of likes. And I was like, that was from our night. Like, we kind of made this happen type thing. So I love being involved with it that way.
Yeah.
Yeah. And never said like Emma O'Brien obviously came back and he didn't take it away from us.
Okay.
Because he thinks that me and Julie are doing a good job. Which I have to say, I think we are.
No, absolutely. Yeah. Like I was at one of them as well. I can't remember the rest of the lineup. I know Neve was on it, and she did a music piece.
Yes.
But no, they are such great nights, and it's a lovely little spot for it as well in the basement of the Chennai.
Yeah, I'd say it's a night ran by the artists for the artists.
Yeah.
So all the money that we get on the door, Chris the artist, the barman, he gives us that space because he knows we'll get a few bodies in. It's good for our business. Yeah. So he deserves a special mention. Thanks very much, Chris. The sound man and the barman. So he's the soundest barman I know. But he gives us that space for free, and it's great to be able to give to the artists because we don't just struggle emotionally, we struggle financially.
Absolutely.
So whatever way we can help, we do. But we've had great nights down there. Yeah. And it's such an intimate space that you can use a mic or you can just stand up there and shout and you'll hear from every bit of the room. Yeah. And it's just good vibes.
It really is. It's a great setting, and you do get fantastic guests on it as well. And it's a class night. It's a really, really good night. Highly recommend. Dublin Finest. It's the last Sunday of every month, right?
Last Sunday of every month, basement of Chennai. Tenner in. All the money goes to paying the artists.
That's it. You can't beat that.
It's quite grassroots, isn't it? And then
that's
we showed up. We showed up even when the fans didn't show up, you could say, but we made it happen, and that's it.
That's it. And you always get something from it, like I said, with the exclusive. We have all the footage of that, so we'll have a nice catalogue for people to go back over.
We do.
Hopefully come in April, Dublin's Finest.
Yeah, I said it now, so we're going to have to do it. I've been putting on the long finger long enough, so yeah.
And it'll be linked on all this as well when we get this up and running as well, so we'll absolutely be shouting all that out. The Artist Journey is proudly in support of the Safe Gigs Ireland initiative. Safe Gigs Ireland is all about safety at live events. That means we want to keep them free from any kind of abuse, be it racial or sexual, and we advocate for anti-spiking as well. For more information, like tips on staying safe at live events, please visit safegigs.ie. Do you enjoy hosting events, or do you prefer to be the guest that gets introduced?
To be honest, I like hosting them. I do like hosting them. It's a different buzz altogether. When you're just a guest, like there's been times, right, so Emmett done the Workman's Club a few different times, and I've been 3 different parts in that. I've been in the crowd, I've performed, and I've MC'd the night. From the 3 of them, it's definitely 3 different buzzes.
Yeah.
probably the best is being in the crowd, like watching stuff happen.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But when you're performing as well, it's just like in the Walkmans. It's like, if you've ever been like on the stage there.
Not on stage now.
Okay, so there's kind of like a side door, exit stage left, yeah, and it's just stairs down. When you're at the bottom of that stairs, hearing what's going on the stage and knowing that they're going to call your name out, there's a weird situation that you're like, imagine I just legged it now. And they're like, here comes Jimbo, and then it's just nothing, and I'm just down the road. But you're kind of there, and you know you have to do a job, and you know you're just like, there's going to be a bit of pressure there. But it's just a buzz. And then you walk out and you kind of just take a glance and you take the mic, and then it's, you know, that's the buzz. But then sometimes when I'm emceeing, like that was the last time I done it, that's what he asked me, MC, it was like 100%. And I know that's not about you. I was nearly trying to stay in the background, but I just wanted the big people up. This is Jan Brearden, you know what I mean? She's over doing stuff with John Cooper Clarke now, and Mikey Cullen.
Wow.
I know, yeah. But like, I know her from ages now. Like, we're mates, so she's probably the most famous, coolest person that I know. You know what I mean? We'll be doing the Rose Festival this year.
There you go.
That's one of my favourites. I've done that the last 2 years.
And that's hosting the Rose Festival?
No, that's doing an hour.
Oh.
That's doing an hour of poetry.
Wow, okay.
Yeah, so the first year she couldn't do it, so they asked me to do Saturday and Sunday. And it's an hour like on the Saturday, an hour on the Sunday. I was like, my God, this is crazy. But last year, she done the Saturday, I done the Sunday. And it's great because it's free. And then your mates kind of live around the area, so loads of my mates are there. And I was just like, this is great. You know what I mean? I'm doing poetry in the middle of St. Anne's Park, getting paid for it. I'm like, listen to me, I'm going to tell you about this. You know what I mean? And people do, they're receptive to it.
Yeah.
So it's a great buzz. So I don't mind if I'm hosting, I don't mind if I'm doing a bit of poetry. They have different buzzes to them, but I enjoy both.
You just love being involved.
I love being involved.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Deadly. So, look, you're clearly a busy man between hosting all those different things. You do a lot of writing, and you're working as a technician as well, BIM. Shout out. No. But it's a lot. It's a lot that you're up to. Have you ever experienced any form of burnout?
I'd probably say when I fell out of love with it was kind of a bit of burnout. And you just didn't want to go to the gigs. Like, I'm living out in Portmarnock.
Okay.
It's a different sus if you're living in the city centre and you know that circus sessions is on. I'm just going to pop down to the International. I have to go and get the train in, walk up here, do all this sort of stuff. So when you do have a bit of burnout and you have your own stuff going on in life, your main priority is, I'm going to go up there and sit around for a couple of hours and then get on stage for a couple of minutes and then sit around, and then you don't really want to do that.
Yeah.
So I definitely have experienced it, but I think it's a good thing as well. Like, I've noticed, even like yourself, if you're taking a break from something, it gives you a step back so then you can do a run and jump. You know what I mean? So I've seen loads of people do that where I haven't seen them for ages, and they come back and they're just like busy, they have loads going on. So I have experienced it, got past it, and I think I found a nice balance now.
Yeah.
I have my own job, and I know that this is on the last Sunday of every month. I can sort stuff out earlier on in the month, and I can just get stuff going like that. If there's other gigs that come up, no bother. Prioritise.
It is good to take a step back and catch your breath and take that breather. But what do you think gets you back firing on cylinders again? What reignited your love for it?
Oh, that's great, actually. Probably writing new stuff.
Right.
Yeah, not kind of relying on what you've had already. And then it's kind of the excitement of, I wrote this new thing, let's show it to people and let's see what kind of buzz I get out of it. So, or I'll write something a bit crazy, or I'll do a mad one in front of people. You know what I mean? It's just like, let's just get a bit of reaction out of this.
Yeah.
You know? Because I know what I was saying about you write for yourself, but if you write for yourself and then you share with other people and then they're like, this is all right. It's like, yes, there's more than one of us as well. Yeah. So that's what kind of gets you in the mood again. Like if you like writing, write.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like play music.
Yeah.
And then if you want to share that with the world, better for the world.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So just again, just paring it right back to just write for yourself, create for yourself.
Yeah.
And you kind of reignite that buzz to get back into again. It's like, geez, you know what, I do like this. I do want to get back into it. I do want to perform. Yeah.
It kind of it brings you back to the first time you done it.
Yeah.
That nerves or the excitement or we're gonna go there later, and then this is gonna be the and you have an idea of it in your head, and you're like, oh yeah, I think it's gonna be like this, and it'll either live up to that or it won't, but it'll definitely be something.
It'll do something.
You're there. You're not in the room in the gaff, and you're just like, oh, what if I went?
Yeah.
What if I went? Then you're like, I'm there. It is what it is. And you're like, all right, this is something new. Yeah.
No, cool. Because I do think it's important. Because even like I've been organising gigs for a while, and you see a lot of artists who, like, even from when I started, they started off around the same time, and then a couple of years later, a year or two later, they're already like, oh geez, I can't actually do this anymore. I need to take a step back. So I do think it is important to acknowledge that it happens, but then there is another route back out of it. So I do appreciate you kind of giving a little bit of your own insight into that one.
Yeah, no, 100%. But it is, if you do take a step back, no shame in it at all.
Absolutely not.
Yeah.
No. Jeez, I'm more comebacks than Dickie Rock myself. Too.
Lovely.
Right, so you do have kind of a mini series of short poems where you're beefing with your neighbour, the gluten-based warfare I brought up at the beginning.
Yeah.
Tell me about that. What's the story there?
So we just buy a lot of bread in the house and we throw it over the wall. And while I was throwing over the wall, I just thought, wouldn't it be just good if you just recorded this? Just a video of me throwing over the wall. And I was like, it'd be good if I just put a few words to this. So I think it was, what did I say? My neighbour is gluten free, but I spend every Saturday flinging on wraps into his tree like a frisbee. He doesn't like me. That was the proposal. And then it just started off like that. So every time there was a bit of bad bread in the house, it was just going over the wall. Now, because you want to know, I nearly don't want to break your heart, but the neighbour's not real.
I had a funny feeling.
Like, in fairness, there is like a set of apartments like over the back wall or whatever. But I do just fling that bread as much as I can. And then I
You
can
get
just...
some distance in that bread, man.
I do have it down. I do underhanded and everything. Like, I just know what flies now. But it's good for the...
Ultimate Brennan's.
Yeah, it's good. It's good for the pigeons in the area and stuff.
Yeah.
Like, that was probably when I put it out. Like, I'm on Instagram, TikTok, all that. Just Jimbo's my name on everything. And I think on that one I got like 20,000 views or something. I was like, people are into this bread content. Get me another batch. You know, this is going over. And I was like, I can do another poem. And then I think it goes up to about 4 now. And I think in the last one, I've cameoed as my neighbour. You seen that one? Yeah. So that's me. So people didn't know that for a while. Like, I'm here in a wig and I've here the glasses and the shorts. I was like, how'd you get into it? No, it's me. Like, look again. So yeah, I actually dressed up as him for the last Halloween.
I dressed up as your neighbour?
I dressed up as my neighbour and people got the reference. And I'm like, that's a full circle moment, you know what I mean?
I love that. I absolutely love that. Just even the idea that your go-to for getting rid of bread is just fucking it over the wall.
Fucking over the wall, yeah, that's it. Like, oh my God, I've done it right. And I've done such a good shot. It got stuck in the branch, right? And the local squirrel was up at the branch eating the bread. I was like, this is great. Like, what a shot. Like, that's just a bit of buzz that I get in the house. Obviously, it's just... I could be doing other stuff, but that's... everyone needs a hobby.
Everyone needs a hobby, that's
Yeah.
it. Oh, Jesus. That's absolutely class.
Yeah.
I've seen a picture you posted with the Ireland president, Michael D. Higgins, and
Yes.
also what looks like a card from him.
Yes.
How did that come about?
So, the first book that I wrote, Sonder and Soul, my ma just said it to me. She goes, why don't you send one to the president? Like, he's a poet. He has an address. I was like, can you do that, yeah? 1 Claremont Avenue or something like this. I don't want to dox him, but basically, middle of Phoenix Park. She goes, you can send him a book. I was like, I'm going to send him a book. So I done it, and then I got a letter back off his press secretary. Like, President really appreciates your book, blah, blah, blah. I was like, oh, no, wait, I think I still have it framed in the house. I have that framed in the house, and in the back of the frame, I have the first fiver that I got for selling me book, and that was my dad that bought it on me. So I was like, that's together in the house now.
That's very cool.
And then Christmas rolled around, and I got a letter. It was like, Jimbo, what's the story? There's a letter here for you. It has a harp on it, looks mad official. I was like, all right, cool. So I opened it up. For whatever reason, all the first cards was Mother Mary breastfeeding. On every single cover of the card, I was like when the next Christmas rolled around, I was like, is she breastfeeding on the front of it again? He's like, yeah, 100% she is. Yeah. But that's how it happened. And with the actual picture of me and him, I think there was obviously a group in Coolock. He was in the Northside Shopping Centre opening up. I think it was a library. I think it was. But he had to close off the top half of Northside. But luckily enough, my sister was she was a beautician in the beauticians in there, shout out to Dee. And she goes, oh, they're giving us like a guest list for people that work there. Do you want me to put your name down on it? I was like, 100%, I want me to put my name down on that. And that's like around the same time, a story that kind of coincides with this was, it's Make Ireland Grand Again. But at the start, it was Make Ireland Great Again. There's a bit of a backstory behind that, but I had the hat on, Make Ireland Great Again. And I gave him, his press secretary or whoever was with him kind of took the hat on me and goes, all right. I was like, can I get a picture? And she took a few pictures with me. So I had the Christmas cards from him, and then I have that picture that I just kind of recycle every so often because this is a great picture. It's just me,
class.
like, I'm just so happy just seeing Michael D. I was like, that's it, you're so chuffed with seeing him. And it was like he was walking out and I was sitting there, I was like, I have to pull the trigger now, I have to go over to him. And I gave him the hat. And you see the picture of him kind of looking at me like that. And he says, like, what's that? And I was like, oh, it's just a hat. And he goes, I can't be associated with the Donald. He said that word for word. I was like, the Donald? I was like, all right, fair enough. And I was just skipping out on our side. I was just telling everyone what was going on. But yeah, that's the story behind that. I just sent him the book and he keeps sending me cards.
That is brilliant.
Yeah.
You're on his,
I'm on his
mailing list.
I'm on his mailing list. I got his last card for Paddy's Day.
Oh, okay.
Because he's out now in November.
Oh, that's right, yeah.
So yeah, I probably got the last card on. But whoever's the new president, I'm going to pester them as well. So
Well, you may as well.
yeah.
I mean, you're already on the mailing list, see what happens.
Yeah, just keep on keeping on. Yeah.
Did you get to ask him, like, did you, like, I'm Jimbo, I wrote you that book, or it was too much, like, I'm so excited to be here, like.
I couldn't get me. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I get starstruck. I don't get starstruck by many people, but he was one of the ones that was like,
It's Michael D. Higgs.
I
Jeez,
know,
how do you
yeah.
know, like.
I was like, all right. Like, yeah, but I didn't get much chance to talk to him. But everyone was in a happy humour, and he didn't think I was going to attack him or anything. So
That's the main thing, yeah.
yeah, got a picture.
I'd say security guards don't mess around with that kind of stuff. Like.
No, they're actually pretty like just making sure.
Yeah.
Like, that's I tried to give him that, and he just dragged it on me. He's like, all right, I'll give it to him.
Yeah. Now Irish sticking this, are you?
Yeah. Obviously, after that's what I said. Yeah.
So actually, that leads me on beauty, right? The hats, Jim. Make Ireland grand again.
Yeah.
I think it's a stroke of genius, but tell me how that got started and which idea came first, the hat or the poem?
That's a good question. The hats came first.
The hats came first.
Yeah.
Okay.
The hats came first. So if you want the whole story, which we're here now.
May as
So
well.
in 2015, I was just mad about the American politics, right? And I actually put a bet on Bernie Sanders to win. And I was real against Trump because you're a kind of a product of the news that you consume. And I was like looking at clips of CNN and the Young Turks saying, oh, this fella's a dope and this fella. And I was like, yeah, he's an apprentice, muppet, doesn't have a clue. And then one clip that came out was Alex Jones, you know, the conspiracy guy?
Oh, yeah.
Him and the head fella out of the Young Turks, Cenk Uygur, had a bit of a round match. And I was kind of debating, I was like, what kind of side am I on here? Because your man Jimmy Dore that was with the Young Turks spit in Alex Jones' face and all. And I'm like,
That's a bit much. Thing.
yeah, I don't really like this. I'm going to look what the other side has to offer. And Alex Jones came out and basically says, Trump is going to win this election. And he was the only person saying it. And he was just showing clips of like Hillary Clinton's like rallies where it was like a gymnasium where nobody was going to. And he was like, she's not going to win. So I put a bet on Trump. And he was a heavy outsider. And I was telling all my mates, I was like, we should bet on Trump. So basically, I just won money on him. So after that, I kind of was like, Trump is actually all right. Yeah, this is fun. It's make America great again. I was like, let's make Ireland great again. Yeah. So I got 10 hats made up. That's the one I'm wearing with the president. And I gave to a few people. Now, my other sister seen the hat. Pauline, shout out to Pauline. She goes, what's it say, make Ireland grand again? And I was like, no, but it definitely should. And I was like, oh my God, this is the best thing ever. So then it went from that, and then I got bucket hats made. So I got onto someone in Alibaba over in China. I was like, send me 100 hats, luminous green, black writing, make Ireland grand again. And I obviously didn't make any money on them because I was just more so, give these hats out. Give these hats out to everything. And then when I was doing jazz poetry, I was like, I'm going to need a poem to go alongside the hats.
Okay.
And that's when I wrote it.
Brilliant.
So the poem came after the hats, yeah.
Talk about the hats. That is class.
Yeah. And the rest is history, yeah.
Jeez, the promo work came before the hats.
I know, it's a weird, yeah, it's a weird sitch, but
Yeah.
that's the way it worked
I like
out, yeah.
it. I like that. So then, from all the work that you've done, what are some career highlights that stand out to you?
Career highlights. I performed in the Casino Marina as a part of Poetry Day Ireland.
Okay,
Dammy Boy online. I met him at the Fingal Poetry Slam. I won that. That was another
Very
highlight.
good.
But I won that, and he just networking, and he was a tour guide around there, and he's like, we're thinking about getting a few poets in for like World Poetry Day Ireland. I was like, yeah, I'll definitely do that. So I had like my ma there, and my auntie, one of my mates came along and all, and I'm standing like in a place that has so much history, and you're just like performing your like recent stuff at it. You know what I mean? This is like something that they would have never imagined that long ago. So that's a highlight. It just the places that I performed, like even around the corner there, the Teachers Club had a great gig around there. The Smock Alley, you know what I mean, doing it in that room where the thing is going around you.
Yeah.
And like, you know, when you're up there and people talk about getting in the zone, if you're like into sports, into anything like that.
Hitting that flow
And
state.
just hitting that flow, and it was just like, oh yeah, this is it. This is just, it felt natural. So that was a highlight. Winning the Fingal Poetry Slam, another highlight. Performing at the first We Are Rio Talkative Slam in Merrion Square. That was another thing. Like Oscar Wilde sitting on a bleeding rock around the corner, and I'm here in a marquee talking about making Ireland grand again, wearing a bucket hat, and people are laughing, and people are like, this is one of the first times I was ever out, like doing this one to like randomers, and they were just getting on with it. I think the main one would be after COVID, right? They cancelled the Electric Picnic, yeah, and because I'm living around the Port Marnock, like I was obviously putting out the videos and stuff and everything. The community at Port Marnock weren't real happy about stuff being closed down, so they done their own kind of Port Marnock picnic.
Okay.
And I reached out to him. I was like, "What's the story? Is there any chance we could do a bit of poetry at it?" And what he said back was, "I was hoping you'd ask."
Cool.
But that's Shawnee,
Okay.
Mind Yourself 365, is mad yoga head. You'll check him out. He was like, yeah. So I was on. Like, that was one of the first times I took like jazz poetry out into the public. And like I had a speaker there, and I was playing the jazz, and I was doing the stuff while the jazz was playing, and people were just like looking at me like, this is all right. Didn't know what to make of it, because I think sometimes if I was just out of the loop altogether, and someone stood in front of me and goes, I'm just gonna do like a half hour of poetry for you, I'm like, oh Jesus, here we go. But now like I know that, yeah, look, I'm gonna stand here for the next half an hour. Yes, I'm gonna enjoy it. Don't worry about it, because I've had the experience now that I know that people kind of, if they don't like that one, they're probably gonna like the next one, and you can kind of get the vibe. So there's been times where I'm kind of standing in front of people, it's like, yeah, no, I probably won't do that one. I'll probably do this one instead. So you get a feel of what's happening.
You're reading the room as you're going.
But the main thing is I've had good highlights.
Yeah.
I think the highlights is what
That's it.
wants you to make more highlights.
Absolutely, and it's good to reflect on those things as well. And they're positive experiences that kind of keep you going. And when you were saying about having the fiver that you have and the postcard and stuff, they're little tokens of I fucking did something. do you
Done
know?
that. Like with the book, I have what I done, like you. I printed it out A4 sideways, folded up the paper, put 2 holes in it, put a string through it, and that was basically what I went to the lads with and says, I want the book to look like that. And I still have that in the house.
Deadly.
I still have a book that my sister gave me for Christmas with like a Maya Angelou quote in the start of it, and I wrote loads of stuff in that. So I had the copybook that I had. I don't know how I still have it, but it was like mad shit written in it, like crazy stuff.
Yeah.
And I was like, I have all this stuff to show us, like proof of work nearly.
Yeah,
And I was like, this is where you came from. This is what's happening.
yeah.
Yeah, it's a
No.
journey.
It's a journey, absolutely. It's a great journey, and it's a great, like I said, they're great little checkpoints, little marks to have for yourself. They're
Yeah.
important. I think they're very, very important. So then, the poetry community in Dublin is extremely supportive and welcome, as we were discussing. And from the organisers and the hosts, I can see the positive impact it has on the poets who participate. It's massive for them. It's a great experience. It's a great opportunity. It's great to get started. It's great to continue on what you're doing. In your own opinion, do you think more can be done infrastructurally to support poets in Ireland, like state-sponsored funding or providing more places to perform?
Yes, I think funding, I think you're going to reap the rewards if you're going to fund a night like that. Like I think IMRO is one name that I keep seeing popping up a lot now. So I think it's people like that that are taking a risk. But what I was saying earlier is like the poetry scene is growing. There's a hunger for it. People want to see it, and then people want to see it, and then chances are they'll get involved. So it's just snowballing in a way that if you were to invest, more power to you. Like it's going to work out in the end. With venues and stuff, there's so many venues around. It's just basically filling those is what we need. Like Pear Street Library, the lads at the Rising Tide, they've took that over. They're going to be doing nights like that. Is this an exclusive as well? I'm going to be performing there on the 14th of May.
Very good.
So, but I'm with like Mike Gary and stuff, you know what I mean? Well-known people. But funding is the right thing to do it. There is enough venues. There could always be more. Like even something that I went to recently, Art Bubbles. Have you seen that?
No.
Art Bubbles is very cool, right? So it's Matteo that runs it. And normally it's ran in a random house. So he's just like, who wants to donate the house for a night? And I'm like, oh yeah, give tickets outright, and then people are in a house, and it just provides an intimate setting. So it's not that you have to build infrastructure. You need a new building to be put in. There's rooms like this. What you were saying earlier, there's a stage that could go here. You could do it in cafes. You could do it anywhere. You could do it on the street.
Yeah.
So there is enough places, I'd say. If more places wanted to get involved, you don't need that. You can stick a microphone here and you could do it.
Yeah.
Down the road, whatever. But with the funding, everyone likes getting paid.
Well, that's it.
Everyone likes getting paid. If they get their advertising on it, great. Like I was even thinking about just putting the call out for Dublin's Finest. If like someone wants to sponsor us, I'll write a poem. I'll write a poem about your company. I'll promote your company at every break. You know what I mean? I'd love it. I was like, yeah, look at this. It's brought to you by water, you know? And just give us a bit of money, and then I can make sure that people get paid, because there's no better feeling than people didn't even think they were going to get paid. And you're able to hand them like a crisp 50 or something, and they're like, I was on stage for 20 minutes and I'm getting 50 quid, and they're like, oh, this is great, and I might want to do this again. Or because there is places like even the likes of Smithfield with Adam Kelly, he'll do what's a fancy water production where he'll put on his own show, or like the Works Festival that's going to be happening in August. Like you're going to go to them, or he'll see it as something, and then that'll be our in for that. That's a bit of money there. You know, it's good to do paid gigs, but with the likes of the open mic, it's good to kind of get known. Yeah. Because people in the industry, sometimes they'll talk very bad. Like we were talking about Emma Kerwin and Stephen James Smith, and I've seen them put out, like people would offer you publicity. And I was like, you know, publicity won't pay the rent. You know what I mean? So it's good to be able to say, okay, this is a gig that you're inviting me to. Like, what's the budget? Yeah. With the poet Jeff, that's a line. You have to credit him with that. I was like, what's the budget? Yeah. Because it's not like, are you going to pay me? I was like, well, what's the budget? And then they'll give you, this. All right, Kel. Yeah. Or, yeah.
That's it, because exposure doesn't pay the bills.
No, like early on, like you kind of, you're happy to get the gigs. Yeah. But later on, if you nearly take less, that's kind of the barometer. Then that's the level that everyone will be getting paid. So it's in your best interest to try and get appreciation for your art. You know, you have to value it for other people to value it. Because if you say, oh, I'll just take this, then the next person comes along and they're taking less and less and less. Yeah. There's people out there with money that want to put these people on. You know, put the money where the mouth is.
That's it. And there's merit to all those things as well. I don't like the idea of selling, well, I'll book you for exposure. That's nonsense. Yeah. But understanding then, well, there is a place to go that you know you're not going to get paid for. Like open mics are there that you can showcase a bit of work, you maybe workshop a few little bits. Yeah. But then if you are organising something, then have that thing where money will be going back. And even like something Dublin's fine, it's only 20 quid. But you know then that the money that's coming in is going to the artist, because it's an important part of the process if people do want to pursue it in that way. Yeah. So it's massive. It's absolutely massive. But I do think there is great opportunity for state sponsorship to help develop that, because it's, I mean, like written works and spoken words, they're a massive part of Ireland culturally. Like our whole history was an oral history. Yeah. So I think it's great to be able to develop that and great to be able to nurture that. So yeah, personally, I think it's a great thing to be able to do.
That's a great shot. I'll give you a good example. Like on January, we linked up with Leanne Bickerdike for a storytelling night. So there was no poetry, no nothing. She brought along people that she worked in the Leprechaun Museum with. One of those lads had a degree in folklore. Didn't even know it was possible. And the stories they were bringing out, and it is like, these are stories from years ago. Like when you were saying that it's rooted in the history. People used to be sitting around the fire, no telly, let's tell a story. Did you hear about your woman on the hill? Well, there's actually something buried in the ground. I was sitting in the room saying, what's happening next? You know what I mean? Like, tell me more. So yeah, it's storytelling with, you can tell stories with that, you can tell stories with poetry, you can tell stories with music, everything. It's just to bring people in and get that out,
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Thank you so much for your time today, Jim. I really appreciate you coming down and discussing your life and your career with us. But I do have one more question for you. What impact do you hope to have on future generations of artists?
I'd like, after a gig, if someone says, oh yeah, that was very good, and then that kind of inspires them, even just a little bit, like even with that last poetry slam, when I walked off and we were talking to people, it's like, oh, I wish I was taking notes, I wish I was doing something, because you'll get someone that I've seen people go to the gigs, and then a couple of weeks later they're performing. If it is a case that in years to come they're like, oh, I seen you perform and that's why I want to perform, Like, imagine doing that.
That's cool.
Or imagine putting people on a pedestal, like even with Dublin's Finest, and then seeing them kind of explode. Like, I get a buzz when we have people, and then you see their name on a festival poster, like they're performing now. I was like, we had them.
Yeah.
And you nearly feel like you had a part to play in it.
Yeah.
Like, even with Light and Phil, for example, right? I seen him busking in Greystones, and I was like, get off the street and go in and do Dublin's Finest. And the first thing he said to me, can I bring my band with me? I was like, of course you can bring a band with you. The set's usually about 20 minutes long. He sat there and played for like an hour. And I'm sitting, and this was one of the first ones I was sitting there thinking, looking around, people are vibing, people are dancing at the back of the room. You know he's getting paid. And I'm just looking at him. I'm like, we made this happen. And now you see him, he's putting stuff out. We're playing fibbers tonight, we're doing this, we're doing that. And if you just have a small part to play in that, whether it's me inspiring someone else to pick up poetry or putting people on a pedestal to try and see if they can make it, I think that's what I want to get out of it.
Cool.
Okay.
Love that.
Okay.
Jim, you're a gem.
Luke,
Thank you very
thanks for
much.
having me.
Cheers.
Yeah, I really enjoyed that.
Yeah.
We're gonna go back. I can't say exactly to when. Not so far back when spuds were duds. Civilians dying in the rise, and before Dáil Éireann came to order, or all the troubles at the border. I'd like to cherry pick the best bits. When Ireland was grand. I'd like to talk to those who built Newgrange. Ask how they timed the winter solstice to a T. When Oscar Wilde roamed the streets, or James Joyce during Ulysses. Celtic Tiger in its peak, and the only bust in sight was Molly Malone's. Everyone has a Tamagotchi. Italian 90 playing on the telly again, and fucks Galacci. The night Krista Borg seeing red. Aspirations higher. Nelson dethroned and erecting the spire. McGregor. Not when he was flogging whiskey to out fellas, when he was made champ, and there was talk of putting him on the stamp and the coinage. The belittling of Rod Little. Ah, now Eamon, leave it bleed now. He wouldn't give us a lift to Clester. And of course, Celtic.
Dirty Michael.
What if Georgie Burgess got this snip? Gar Brooks has played some gigs. If Barry McGuigan had weak wrists or Johnny Logan had a lisp. Still, be dancing in Billy Brennan's barn or around a pint of plain. If I drown in this nostalgia, these are the grand times I want to be found reeling in. I'd keep on him. I kinda like him. You'd have Katie Taylor thanking God another try by that lad bod and less ATMs getting robbed. Pre-foot and mouth outbreak post Henri's handball heartache. When the Pope came and kissed the land, that was grand. When we could withstand an orange weather warning, that was grand. When all the snakes were banned, that was grand. A time where everyone who wants it gets the shift. We all get taught French with the girls in Bewitched. The batter on your Bordeaux fish is always crisp. Fearless Paul Kimmage questioning Lance on his drug stance. Michael Flatley's ankles start ringing wet cause of river dance. 32 counties, if we get the chance. When the smell of our factories wafted through our streets, the mix of Cadbury's hitting the breeze, blended with potatoes, onion and cheese, perfectly in harmony. Father Ted gives every eulogy. And we stop mimicking the states. They want to be great, we'll settle for grand as long as our homeland is where having the crack originates without debate. Michael deals handle with care with the safe hands of Packy Butter, so he can lay a reed whenever we need him. The leaves are always in free fall on Raglan Road. No matter where you go in the world as an Irish pub, we communicate in wink and elbow code. If we live with the clarity of Padraig Pearse's pen, we will make Ireland grand again.
If you enjoyed this episode, please be sure to like and follow us to help support the growth of this channel and receive updates on future episodes. If you have any thoughts on what we discussed today, if there's any topics you'd like us to discuss in the future, or if there's a guest you'd just love to hear from, leave it all in the comment section. Bam. Receive updates on future episodes. Cool.
Do you want to do just one more?